When you're older, you're going to play football. Among football's most famous and adored families, there's the Manning clan. Looking back at the Manning's football past is necessary before moving on to talk about the next great Manning and why he is being hailed as the finest Manning ever. At Ole Miss, it all began with Archie Manning. His rise to fame began when he was selected second overall in the 1971 Heisman Trophy draft. Beyond the accolades, Hall of Fame membership, and hardware, he became something of a folk hero to the people of Mississippi. In recognition of his jersey number, the campus speed limit was raised to 18 miles per hour. He spent 10 seasons with the Saints after graduating from Ole Miss. And while he was a brilliant player, his teams were never very good. He was able to continue his football heritage through his three sons. One of the most sought-after high school recruits in history was Peyton, the second son. Instead of going to Ole Miss with his parents, he ended up in Tennessee. A lot of people were hoping he'd end up playing for the Rebels, and when he did, his parents got some nasty mail and phone calls. A petrol station warned the Mannings against returning because of Archie, who was allegedly a traitor. I bring this up so we may talk about the next Manning school later. It seems the decision just devastated Archie. Nonetheless, Peyton was successful, as you are aware. On many occasions, Peyton was considered a Heisman Trophy candidate, and Tennessee was a title contender. Following that, he was considered one of the greatest prospects of all time. Possibly only Andrew Luck and John Elway were more glamorized than Peyton. The Indianapolis Colts took quarterback Josh Allen from the University of Tennessee as the first overall selection in the NFL draft. He had some of the most remarkable football seasons ever. After the Colts selected him first overall, he went on to win 2 Super Bowls, be named NFL MVP 5 times, and more. There was a lot of pressure on Eli Manning, as one would expect from a quarterback who had Peyton hailed as a top-tier talent from the start. Evidently, Eli has never been one to let external expectations or pressures get to him. He went to Ole Miss to follow in his dad's footsteps and broke records for passing yards and touchdowns. In 2004, when the Chargers held the top pick, they selected him. Have you got a Chargers cap on? I asked you that after the pick. Check out the results. According to accounts, Archie forced the trade to the Giants because he didn't want Ellie's career to follow in his footsteps. What I'm attempting to demonstrate here is how this familial legacy can and will impact the entire football environment, even if Eli would go on to win 2 Super Bowls. We must not overlook Cooper Manning either. For some reason, I kept him for last. As an interesting aside, the pronunciation isn't quite Cooper, but I've read this stuff 4 times, and I still can't quite get the hang of it. Additionally, he was introduced as Cooper on his own TV program, so we'll just go with that. In your opinion, how many people have used this pool as a restroom? 893 individuals. About 29 or 37 is most often. Cooper Manning, son of Archie, was the highly regarded prospect before Peyton and Eli. While playing wide receiver at Ole Miss, he committed to the Rebels as a promising quarterback. Actually, according to Archie, Cooper was the most athletic of the 3 boys from the start. The unfortunate thing is that he was never given the opportunity to get a pass to Ole Miss. A spinal issue put an end to his playing career. Cooper persisted in making the most of his circumstances, and he eventually became a famous comic after achieving great success in business. When asked about the differences between him and his 2 brothers, he tends to say anything to deflect attention away from the seriousness of the situation, such as that he is 45 years old and has never been liked in a good way, or that he has run out of eligibility. Cooper informed Peyton that he wanted Peyton to fulfill his football aspirations after hearing the devastating news of the disease. Peyton once shared a fantastic tale about how Cooper began attending Tennessee games later on. "We had a 10:30 curfew on Friday night," he stated. "After work, Cooper would visit a local watering hole to relax with a few beers and a cigar. A quarter of the hour has passed. Someone from Tennessee approaches him and asks, "Hey, Peyton, what are you doing out?" Before anything else happens. It's the hour of one. "Hey, we're just playing Kentucky tomorrow," Cooper says, avoiding the need to correct the individual. "What's all the fuss about?" I apologize for the lengthy introduction that took up half of the film, but I do think it had some interesting information, and you now have a solid grasp of the family's identity. The next logical step is to introduce Cooper's son,